But I mastered that style. It's like the 5 deadly venoms. So all he had to do was get next to a nigga like that. He could destroy him.
Believe in that, for real. We plan to take the same strategy we use with Death Row West, mind over matter, taking all our weaknesses and making it into our strength. That all these people talk about an East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. It's not a game.
Here's what they think about you. 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 Here's what they think about you.
The Bible of Boxing, Ring Magazine, they just put Ronda Rousey on the cover. A lot of boxing fans are upset, thinking other boxers should have been on the cover. Ann Wolfe or one of the current champions. What do you think about Ronda Rousey being on the cover of Ring Magazine? Good idea, bad idea?
I mean, as far as boxing goes, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm gonna say they should have had a boxer or a female boxer over her. You know, she's not even a boxer, never had a boxing fight. You know, it's like,
I'm gonna just say this and throw it out there. This lady looks like she's black. Ronda Rousey is white. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I'm not saying nothing.
I always throw that out there, but just look at it. Like, just look at it. It makes sense. Like, I don't know if that Ronda Rousey is a beast. She does do it, but that's MMA.
Hey, that's crazy though, because even
could Ronda Rousey survive in the boxing game? Like pure boxing, no ground game, no grapple, judo?
No, and she got, it's different, man. A lot of people think, oh, boxing is just so easy to come. That's why, you know, and not to sound mean or nothing like that, but MMA fighters are mainly used as opponents to build up other people's records. You know, you can have all this experience in MMA as you want, but once you get in that ring, it's different. It's way different. It's different rules. You know, it's kind of like trying to put a soccer player in a football field. That shit ain't gonna work.
It's the same with MMA. Just because you get in there with MMA, and you know, and I did both. And MMA boxing is harder to me because you don't have as many tools to use. You can only throw punches, so you have to. Boxing is so simple. It makes it complex because you gotta know how to just do different things.
It's so fucking diverse.
Like you can't just throw a regular jab. Once you learn that, once you learn how to jab, you gotta know how to jab from different angles, trajectories, placing the jab in different places,
timing,
rhythm. MMA, if you don't have good boxing, you can learn enough boxing to get in the inside to use your grappling or use your wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just think that that was just stupid to put Ronda Rousey on there.
She looks like a beast, so a lot of people can't see it. She's like, oh, she's dominating MMA, she's beating everybody in MMA's ass and this and that.
But in a boxing match, Clarissa's gonna knock her out. She's gonna stop her because she doesn't have enough boxing
skill. So Ann Wolfe versus Ronda Rousey?
She would knock her out in the first round. She's too. That's not fair because Ann Wolfe is so big or so much bigger and stronger.
So fast.
There's a lot of people that think Ronda Rousey is ducking Chris Cyborg. There are a lot of people, including myself, who believe that Chris Cyborg is the biggest test for Ronda Rousey. And the reason I believe it is Chris Cyborg is big and strong, and she's a powerful striker. So Ronda Rousey, she's a master at judo. She does a little hip toss to get you on the ground. It's a wrap with the armbar. You know what I mean? Not many people have a great defense for that. She's very technically and fundamentally sound, and that's what she does. However, I feel Chris Cyborg would make it a stand-up game, and her being so strong and a powerful striker, that could make things interesting. So I would really love to see it. And again, Ronda Rousey just got the ESPN for Fighter of the Year, so people want to see her tested. And unfortunately, it's limited in the world of women's MMA. The competition is limited. You have like a star like Ronda Rousey who's just so good where it's hard to find people to beat her at her own game or to test her. Right? So I think that's where Chris Cyborg could step in. And if Ronda Rousey is able to submit her or beat her, that's a huge win, because Chris Cyborg, we all know, is powerful, a good striker, as I said earlier in the video. Other thing you got to look at is Gina Carano got knocked out, TKO'd by Chris Cyborg years ago. And to me, Gina Carano was the Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey. She was the marketable women's mixed martial artist who was in magazine spreads and movies and different stuff like that. And they were really pumping her because she was kind of eye candy as well as a good fighter. And then she stepped in the ring with Chris Cyborg. So years later, the quote-unquote Gina Carano, so the Gina Carano 2.0 is Ronda Rousey, but she's being pumped the same way, developing a fan base and stuff. So it'd be interesting for that reason for me too, to see exactly how Ronda Rousey would deal with someone who's clearly bigger. And the title is a suggestive one. She conquered MMA. Is boxing next? Dun dun dun. And boxing fans, my people, have flipped. They are not feeling it. Go through the internet. You'll see a ton of comments. I'll put some of them in this video. So do you think she's a good boxer? And me personally, I like Ronda Rousey for Ronda Rousey. Like, she wants to do movies or whatever the situation is. UFC. She's good at that. But I don't think she has it to be a boxer. Boxing's different. People don't, like, you know what I mean? Where you can't do hip tosses and judo and a ground game and stuff like that. It's a whole different sport. You know what I mean? And it works both ways. Just like, to me, the whole game is funny, man. The whole fight game, there's a lot of double standards. I like Ronda Rousey. I like UFC. There's just so many things. Like, people say boxing is dead, yet I keep hearing Conor McGregor's and the Ronda Rouseys always take jabs at Floyd Mayweather and boxing and this and that. It's funny. So it shows you that boxing is alive and well. And that's accepted. When Floyd Mayweather talks about Ricky Hatton, talk shit to Pacquiao, when he talks shit to, let's say, Shane Mosley, people hate him for it because he's a trash talker. So it's funny how people pick and choose who they want to hate for the trash talk. Conor McGregor, he talks a lot of shit. Ronda Rousey is a phenom. She's very good, but she's also in a limited talent pool. So she's a good fighter regardless, but she's really going to stand out because these other chicks, they're just not on her level in terms of her training, her judo, her background, her mental strength, her physical strength, things like that. I'm coming for you against all odds. I don't care who you are. You touch me, I'm at you. I know you motherfuckers didn't think I forgot. Hell no, I ain't forgot. I just remember what you told me. You said don't go to war unless I got my money behind me. Alright? Well, I got my money here. Now I want war. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. We're gonna have some fun with this video. Egoveli, I rise, West Side. And I gotta talk about it. I told you I didn't want to talk about this too much. Egoveli had to talk about it. But I didn't want to talk too much in detail in the former video. Check out my post-fight for Ronda Rousey, Holm. That's on the channel right now. But I needed some space and time to really dig in like I want to talk about all the issues, all the double standards. So if you don't like that, then click off the video because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to like what you're going to hear in this video. Now, in my past videos, especially the Ronda Rousey making the Ring magazine covers, most of my boxing familia, they were right behind it and they thought it was disrespectful. So you'll see some of those comments floating throughout this particular video of what the fans had to say on the video that I did with Ronda Rousey getting the Ring magazine Bible of Boxing cover. But there were some detractors. And you know what? I'm going to do like Corrupt. I'm going to call out names. So I have to blur it out for YouTube community guidelines. But if you see these people, you let them know about themselves because they were the ones saying that, oh, Ego, you just hating. Oh, Ego, you don't know what you're talking about. Elizabeth Garcia. Stop hating, motherfuckers. This is what she wants. That's why she's on top. Well, Holm was definitely on top of her, pounding the shit out of her. Who else? Let's look through these comments. Jose Cotto. Why you hate on this chick? Let her rock. So I was hating because I wanted to see her step up and fight someone with equivalent skill, a powerful striker like a Chris Cyborg. Yeah, some hating. Sean Newton says, Rousey is a crossover star! Exclamation point. It's good for boxing to have her on the mag. Many casual fans will buy it and learn about top boxers who aren't recognized. Why are boxing fans so sensitive? Her next fight is against a former boxing champion. She just won Combat Athlete of the Year. Well, Sean, she also got stopped by Combat Athlete of the Year, the new Holly Holm. So again, she didn't have no place because she can't box, period. She don't have no place on a boxing magazine when she can't box. Do you see Howard the Duck on Playboy? No, you see titties and Playmates. You don't see like dumb shit, Caitlyn on Playboy and stuff like that. Like if it's a cooking magazine, you're not gonna see a bunch of high-tech iPhones and electronics and stuff, Better Homes and Gardening, and then you see National Geographic mountain lions and stuff. Stick to the topic. If it's a magazine, the Bible of boxing, why not showcase boxers? Just a thought. So as you guys know, Ronda Rousey got knocked out in 2 rounds by a boxer and lost the first round as well. And I seen this online. Holly Holm, her professional boxing record was 33-2-3. Years as a professional boxer, 11. And she was a world champion at lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight. And she got 0 Ring magazine covers. Meanwhile, Ronda Rousey's boxing record, obviously you can see, is 0-0-0. Years as a professional boxer, 0. She's a world champion in the MMA, or she was up until last night. And she got on the Ring magazine cover 1 time, being the first MMA fighter, I believe, and first female mixed martial artist on the Bible of boxing. Now, I already tweeted, if you follow me on Twitter, @BoxingEgo, I told you this was coming. I'm coming. And the real reason is, you guys heard the clips at the beginning, and I've been saying a lot of the same things. Now, what I always stress to you guys on my channel, from a real fight fan's perspective, check for consistency. If you listen, and I'm not just talking about someone, they make a prediction and things change or whatever. I'm talking about when people have hard and fast rules and stern rules, and then all of a sudden they flip. You don't really get that with me. I tell you how I feel, and the only thing that will change that is time, or if somebody proves me wrong or whatever. In this instance, I wasn't proven wrong. Everything I said was true. I told you I want to see Ronda Rousey tested. She's in a limited talent pool of women who couldn't match her in the skill department. She does have a judo background. If she gets you on the ground, it's a wrap. But I wanted to see her in with the powerful striker. I didn't think Heather Holm would be that person. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But I also said Chris Cyborg would have been a candidate. I just wanted to see her in there tested. Now, this is the thing, and I learned this from boxing. You could look sensational, but one, like Roger Mayweather says, who he beat. He ain't beat no motherfucking body, okay then. Like, it don't matter about just beating opponents. It's who you're beating. And that's what some people fail to realize. Who are you beating? You get, like, especially in the MMA, somebody could be undefeated with 5 fights. You know what I mean? 5-0. Like, that's cool. That doesn't mean, like, they're battle tested. That doesn't mean they're the best fighter in the world. You know what I mean? So it's a lot different. And I always interpret that. Who the opponent is. Who are you beating? Has this person taken a loss before? How long have they been a pro fighter? Have they been stopped before? And some of you guys are so easily brainwashed, you don't care about that. You let HBO or Dana White or Oscar De La Hoya, Ring Magazine, whoever's agenda it is, you let them force feed you into believing that. But me, I can think for myself. And I need to see things with my own 2 eyes. So with Ronda Rousey, like I said, she's a good fighter, but people are she's with Gennady Golovkin, she's the greatest, and she can't be beat. Like, come on, man. Like, I have to see that to believe it. She looked great against the people that she fought, but it's all about, this is the other thing I look for and I learned from boxing. It's not just having a game plan, let's say plan A. If plan A always works, no matter what, that's cool. I mean, you're still going to get the victory. But for me, I love to see a fighter taken out of their comfort zone. So what I mean by that is when plan A fails to work for you, what do you do? And that is the true testament of a true champion. Because what you initially tried and what's worked with 10, 30 other opponents is not working with this person. What will you do? Will you sink or will you swim? Can you adapt? Example, look at Floyd Mayweather. People are like, oh, you love Floyd Mayweather, you're sucking Floyd, oh, you're a homo, like all that dumb stuff. But I watch boxing, I watch the fight game, and I study. I've seen Floyd Mayweather taking out of his comfort zone. Example, Zab Judah was besting him the first 5 rounds or so. He had to make some switches because what he had normally done in other fights, Zab Judah maybe was quicker than him or was a southpaw and it was giving him problems or whatever the situation was. Zab Judah forced him to switch up, and he did, and he started going to the body, slowing Zab down, etc. Shane Mosley rocked Mayweather twice in the second round. He was badly hurt, so he, as a champion, had to pull it together, and he came back and defeated Shane Mosley every single round after being badly hurt twice in round 2. You look at a guy like Marcos Maidana. I've seen him. He was hurt in the Josecito Lopez. A punch landed weird on his hip. It said it numbed his whole leg, and it looked like he might even get stopped by Josecito Lopez. He was getting bullied on the ropes. He came back to stop Josecito Lopez. Amir Khan hurt Maidana to the body, and it looks like that's probably where Maidana's most vulnerable as opposed to a headshot. Maidana was rolling around on the ground after a perfectly placed body shot by a confident Amir Khan with speed. Maidana gets up off the ground and later makes it hell for Amir Khan in those championship rounds. To me, that shows where your head is as a fighter, because you're willing to walk through fire, you're willing to adapt, you're willing to bite down in order to make it happen for yourself. Even though in the Amir Khan fight, Maidana lost, it still showed me he was durable mentally as a fighter. But with Ronda Rousey, and I'm not saying she's not tough, but a lot of what she did, plan A, worked. So that's good. It's working. But it wasn't until Holly Holm took her out of her comfort zone and you seen the end result. She got stopped. She couldn't adapt because, like I said in my post fight, watch the Betch Correa. She was bullying Betch Correa on the cage, and right before the knockout, she was like just piling it on and no mercy, just really trying to stop her. But she was getting hit with counter punches, like bow, bow, bow. And she didn't probably respect Betch Correa's power the same way. So she was able to force her way through that and overwhelm Betch Correa and end up knocking her out. But she was getting tagged. Now, that's not a good habit, because the whole goal is to have some level of a defense about you. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to just take flush shots. Especially with the MMA, they use smaller gloves. So it was kind of a matter of time with Ronda Rousey that she stepped in with a powerful striker with some skills and experience that could potentially expose that. She's not a stand-up fighter. She's better when she's doing the hip toss and the judo, the arm bar, rear naked choke, anything like that. But she tried to stand up with a person with a boxing background who wasn't going to just mentally fold. As I told you, Heather Holm had 30 plus boxing fights. That's just in boxing, not to mention her switch to MMA. Now, that's one topic. I always got to see people tested, and I seen Ronda Rousey tested. She came up short. So congrats to Holly Holm. The other thing that I noticed is the double standards in boxing. We're talking about everything in this video. The double standards in boxing. People hate certain guys, Adrian Broner, Floyd Mayweather, whoever the person is. Oh, I hate him. Why? He trash talks. Ronda Rousey does the same thing. And she was America's child. Everybody was okay with that. Everybody liked that when Ronda Rousey. And I'm going to read, this is a snapshot from, or a screenshot from her post right before the Holly Holm fight. And this is what Ronda Rousey said, or whoever manages her account. And see, this is the thing. Don't try to play me. When she posts anything else, like a picture of Gennady Golovkin, everybody just assumes it's Ronda Rousey who's posting it or whatever, or she authorized it. But all of a sudden, when something else gets posted from that same account, people want to say, oh, she didn't write that. Well, she's still accountable. She's a celebrity. This is her verified account. And this was the message that she sent across to her millions of fans. So what she put is this: fake ass cheap shotting, fake respect, fake humility, bitch. Quote unquote, preacher's daughter, my ass. I see through your fake sweet act now. you're getting your ass kicked tomorrow, and I'm really going to enjoy the beating I give you. Hashtag and still. So is that not trash talking? Like, I understand things get a bit animated. People have that intensity at the weigh-in, but that's trash talking. But when Broner does it, Mayweather does it, or whoever, Danny Garcia, whoever the person you hate is, you hate them for it and condemn them for it. But it's okay when Ronda Rousey does it, or when Ronda Rousey says, I'll beat Floyd Mayweather, even though she would later lose to a female boxer. Not in, again, Holly Holm wasn't undefeated as a boxer, but you lost to a female. Mayweather weighs 147, or he's fighting out of the 147-pound division. You just lost to a female fighter at bantamweight, right? And I don't care what anyone says. This is just, I'm not trying to stereotype, but there's a difference between a man's strength and a woman's strength by and large. Not in all instances. Some of you dudes are weaklings, and you know what I'm saying? But not in all cases, but in general. And if what I'm saying is false, then why is it shamed and frowned upon if a man were to hit a woman? Why will he get taken to jail for domestic violence? Because we know that's wrong, because in general, a man is considered or perceived to be the stronger of the two genders in terms of like brute force or whatever. And I told people on my channel, why are we talking about a fight that will never happen? And when Mayweather, he has a domestic violence charge, people condemn him for it, yet they want to see him fight a female MMA fighter. Like, it made no sense. So back to the trash talking. She also said that she would whoop Layla Ali, who weighs over 160 pounds and was a boxing champion, son of a legend, the greatest Muhammad Ali, right? So all this stuff is in my book, considered trash talking. But it was okay for Ronda Rousey, because just like Rousey, I think a lot of people started to buy the product and believe into the hype of it. And there's no one on this earth, not me, not Mike Tyson, not whoever, you know what I'm saying? There's no one that's indestructible or invincible. Everybody has their kryptonite, you know what I mean? You could be the best fighter in the world. You could be the Mildred Taylor. You could be Mike Tyson. But on one fateful night, everybody has that. Just like Pacquiao. Pacquiao, he's a great fighter. He was running through everybody. Then he fought a tough and durable Juan Manuel Marquez. Every time they fight, it's action. Every time it's competitive, because some people just have your number. So you have to humble yourself in the fight game and realize that. So when Ronda Rousey is saying she's going to beat Layla Ali and she could beat Mayweather, it's just crazy to me to hear comments like that. In addition to that, let's talk about Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, see, again, check for consistency. The things that I say on my channel when I put out a video, I really believe that. I'm passionate about that. I'll die for what I believe in. I'll be a martyr for the statements that I make, what I believe in. Am I perfect? No. Am I wrong? Yes. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I truly believe the words that come out of my mouth. But when you get to people like Oscar De La Hoya, I don't, based on lack of consistency, I don't believe he believes the stuff he's saying. He said right before the Holly Holm fight that Ronda Rousey will beat and dismantle Floyd Mayweather in 16 to 17 seconds, right? Despite if he was talking about on the ground or striking, whatever. I don't think he believes that, because after the Shane Mosley performance, I think it was, he was praising Mayweather before they had the falling out, when they were still, it had a business working relationship. He was saying things like Mayweather is going to go down as possibly TBE. He keeps finding a way to get it done. He's a hell of a fighter. And then all of a sudden, now when you don't work with him, it's kind of like Ishe Smith said. It really feels like a scorned girlfriend. I seen people in high school, they were dating, high school sweethearts. Everything was great. And then when they break up, then all of a sudden the wrath comes out. And the scorned woman oh, that's why he had a little dick. And she's saying all this stuff about the dude. Oh, he sucked. The sex with him was boring. He couldn't kiss or whatever. They say whatever they did to bash. But my question is, if that is the psychology and everything was that bad about him, why were you with him for a year, 2 years, 3 years? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it is with Oscar De La Hoya. Is like, I don't believe what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And then you put her on top of that. You put her on the Ring magazine, the Bible of boxing. Now, if this didn't backfire, I don't know what the term and the definition of backfire is. It backfired completely. Oscar De La Hoya needs to stop intervening with the fights because he seems at this point to be a bit of bad luck. Canelo has the blueprint, then he loses. Victor Ortiz is the one to defeat. Yeah, I think Victor Ortiz has a strong chance. Mayweather has not fought a southpaw that is strong like Victor, and then Victor loses and gets knocked out. One of Mayweather's only knockouts in recent memory. You know what I mean? Ronda Rousey is on the Bible of boxing on the Ring magazine cover, and she'll dismantle Floyd Mayweather in 16, 17 seconds. Then she loses by knockout in 2 rounds by a boxer. Crazy. You can't make this stuff up, man. This is super ironic. But again, the stuff I say on my channel, I truly believe it. Whether it's like 7 reasons Canelo beats Cotto, check that video out. That's what I really feel. Everything I said in the video, I really feel. And I'm going to always be pure and real with you guys. I'm not going to force feed you something. If I don't really believe it, I'm not just going to say it. And that's what it boils down to with this whole Ronda Rousey situation. With Ronda Rousey, I knew she was a good fighter, but I also put things into perspective, and I also know she's in a very limited talent pool. Like, I'm not trying to sound sexist. Please don't take it like that. But women's fighting in general, the talent pool is different. It is not as stacked, and it is not the same, especially depending on what division you're in. It is not the same as men's competitive fighting at all. It's just not. I've seen female boxing live. I've seen different, and there's some girls that can scrap. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, like I said, I'm not shitting on women. There's some girls that are really good. But what I'm talking about is the talent level. There might be a girl that is exceptional in a weight class, but then you look at the other people and they're not quite so great. They're not quite so skilled. They have 3, 5, 6 losses or whatever. They've been stopped before. That's what I'm talking about. Versus men's competition, men's fighting, you have some stacked divisions. Look at boxing. There are how many undefeated fighters at 147? Floyd Mayweather, kind of retired, whatever. Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Kell Brook. Those are all at welterweight. Not to mention guys who are credible foes at welterweight with some losses like Pacquiao, like Mike Donna, like Amir Khan. You know what I'm saying? That is all in the same division. Not to mention prospects and up-and-comers like Earl Spence Jr. and people like that. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by it is you look at men's fighting per division, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of threats, and there's a lot of people who can match certain things and certain skills. And to me, I wasn't completely sold on Ronda Rousey on every facet of her game. And I got the answers that I needed. That's why I told you guys I wanted to see her fight Chris Cyborg. A powerful striker. Like these other girls, if they can't hurt you, then she's going to bulldoze you and like bully you. I mean, it's a given. That's why I always got to see these fighters tested. Now, if you show me stuff, if you took someone to the ground, they got out, and then they hit you with some shots and you got rocked and then you came back and finished them off, then I'm like, okay, you showed me something. Even Conor McGregor versus Chad Mendes, he showed me more than Ronda Rousey for the simple fact of he was losing, in my opinion, to Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes having a great wrestling background. He was utilizing that, and he still was able to finish Chad Mendes off and have enough strength and enough wherewithal after being on the ground for so long in uncomfortable, compromising positions to the point where he finished Chad Mendes off. So that shows me something, at least with Conor McGregor, that I hadn't seen him fight a wrestler, a guy with that type of wrestling background. And Chad Mendes had a good, strong game plan, was winning rounds, and Conor McGregor endured that. So that still showed me more. Now, when Conor fights Jose Aldo, that'll be the supreme test of what he can do. But Ronda Rousey, like I said, her plan A always seemed to work. And that's cool. Secure a victory the best way you know how, but things like this happen. That's why I don't just believe and buy into what, because someone has t-shirts and stuff, just because You know what I'm saying? You never know. It's just like Milli Vanilli. When Milli Vanilli came out, everyone thinks, oh, this is the best group ever. And then find out later they weren't even singing the songs. It was them lip singing. You know what I'm saying? So you can't, I'm not trying to sound paranoid, but you got to show me something. And the only way you could show me something is through time and seeing what you do. And I seen what I needed to see from Ronda Rousey. But Oscar De La Hoya, he should be ashamed of himself for promoting this propaganda and this agenda. I mean, ESPN too. This is Fighter of the Year. I don't care if it's a fan made. They knew what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And they're making this person Fighter of the Year. So Floyd Mayweather beats the Fighter of the Decade after 5 years of debate. 5 long years of debate. And Ronda Rousey the same year, and this was before the Holly Holm fight, she only had one fight. This was before Betch Correa fight too. So she only had like one performance this year at the time of the ESPY Awards, and she wins the over Terrence Crawford, Triple G, Floyd Mayweather, Donald Cerrone. You know what I'm saying? And this is the person, you know what I'm saying? It's all propaganda. So they should be ashamed of themselves. But like I said, at the end of the day, always check for consistency, because the things I said then, I'm still saying now. We'll see what Oscar De La Hoya has to say now. Like, how do you feel about that Ring magazine cover now that Ronda Rousey got slept inside of 2 rounds? You know what I'm saying? How is she the Fighter of the Year and she got defeated by an underdog and lost both rounds and then gets knocked out? How's that the Fighter of the Year? You could have gave it to Golovkin. He just unified with David Lemieux and knocked him out and knocked him down. And before that, he had the Willie Monroe performance. So even if you weren't going to give it to Mayweather for beating Pacquiao and Berto hadn't happened at the time. So if you weren't going to give it to him for beating Pacquiao, okay, fine. But why not give it to Golovkin? Why not give it to Crawford? Cowboy Cerrone had like 3 fights. Why not give it to him? You gave it to the person who at the time had 1 fight and would later lose by knockout the first time she stepped up with someone with about equivalent skills in some section, which was the boxing background, the stand-up striking game. Unbelievable. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Ronda Rousey, Oscar De La Hoya, Ring Magazine, ESPN, Fighter of the Year, Egoveli. I'm out. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.